Nana, what are you doing? Huh? Really? You're on the phone? What are you doing? You having fun?
Good day everyone, welcome to our channel, Walking Triumphantly. My name is Eben, and today we're recording from Cross Barman. This is Cross Barman, just a few kilometers from Okahanja. That's where we are. We just had a little family vacation just to, begin the year on a good note. I think last year was really one of those years, where we were really working hard, and it really took a little bit of a toll on us. And even though we had the December rest, we just thought let's do this. Also, it being Valentine's month, love month, so we decided to just take this. Not just we decided to just take the vacation now. Cross Barman is a very wonderful place where we've already seen some animals around here, but we didn't come for the animals anyway. So if you're new here, my name is Eben, and this channel is called Walking Triumphantly, and we are running this channel, me and my wife, and probably will introduce you as well to Delight in the future. But for now, it's just me and Fabie. Fabie did her part of how we met, and I just want to give my installment of that, or my version, as she put it, of that, how we met. So that's what this video is gonna be about. It's about my version of how we met. Okay, so how did we meet? Well, I met Fabiola in 2005, and the first time I saw her, it was at a school. We used to do outreaches to schools, and one of the schools that we used to do was where Fabie was. So at this school, there was one of our elders was a teacher there, and he had organized a scripture union group that was very good, that was very strong. So during that time, I used to work at a Chinese restaurant during the day. That was just after finishing my grade 12. So I used to work at a Chinese restaurant, and so I would be working in the evening and resting throughout the day. So what would happen then, I would then sleep throughout the day, but at 10 o'clock I would then join these scripture union guys. This is scripture union, scripture union. These scripture union guys during their break time, and Fabie was a member of this scripture union. So right off the bat, when I saw her love for the Lord. I saw her love for her passion. Also, she was I could say weirdly, but beautifully different. I remember at that school, they had no uniforms. Their kids were not wearing uniform. I don't know, it was a new thing. So it was weird because all schools in Windhoek, Namibia, most of them, if not all, have uniforms. But their school didn't have a uniform. But she would wear a uniform, some sort of uniform. She would put on a skirt and a shirt and really dress like a schoolgirl. A lot of her, her fellow learners would wear, a lot of good clothes, like classy stuff, and some of them very revealing, and they would take time to really show their character in a way through their clothes. But Fabie would just wear a school uniform. I remember she used to wear a blue shirt and a dark blue skirt. Sometimes she would wear a gray skirt with a white shirt sometimes. So it was just those two. Then so that was special to me. I mean, I met her and I said, wow, this is a special person. So I would go there during break to preach mostly, and we would meet. I would make some time so that we can meet and ask how she is and stuff like that. It was a great group. There were also other guys, strong Christians, whom I remember. If you were in that group, 2005, Jacob Marengo, please shout out to you. I will tell you the truth. That was a strong group. It's one of the groups where I learned how to present the gospel, how to preach. I think that was one of the first places I actually addressed a school, which became something that I started doing often. Okay, so we invited the group to our church one day because they were all from different churches. So we invited the group to our church one day, and of all the people, of the people we invited that time to our church, Fabie was the only one who remained at our church. So then she started growing as a Christian. Her keen interest in really learning and being teachable, being able to be corrected, and all that was really a special thing. I think it's something that really just put her apart from I think I remember from the sisters of our church during that time. So she had a keen interest to learn the word of God. She was free to ask questions. She was not embarrassed, and I really enjoyed that about her. But during that time, I was somewhat fanatic more than I am now. I think back then I used to think I was not going to marry. I think I was going to. I thought I was going to really choose celibacy. So it's in my head. I didn't really say, this is the woman I want because of that belief. But she was just special in my heart. So then we went on. As she was growing in the Lord, she began to be very close to everyone, to most of the serious people in church, the elders, the pastors. Really, just keen. She's a very helpful. In fact, you would not even believe it, but one of her hobbies is actually cleaning. I mean, you don't know a lot of people who are like that. You don't know a lot of people who are like that, who would actually associate themselves and say, one of my hobbies is actually cleaning. But anyway, she was, because of that, she was a very clean person, and I really fancy that. I took that very special. Growing up in a house with a strict mother, we were really taught to clean. We were taught to really, pick up after our stuff. So when I saw her being like that, and that being a natural inclination, and not just something that is forced upon her, it amazed me. It was just things that I began to pack in my heart as special things about Fabie. So it went on. As we were growing, she started staying with the pastors. During that time, I was also growing in the Lord, very keen. So I used to visit the pastor a lot. I had a very special relationship with my pastor, where he was really, he is my mentor. During that time, he was really just grooming me and really loving on me, just doing what a spiritual father or a person who just parenting me spiritually, rebuking me sometimes, teaching me the things that a novice would not really, would take for granted sometimes. So then I used to visit the pastor a lot, and her being there, now it became a very special thing to visit the pastor's place, because she was there. So when I come there, she was mostly very busy. So we didn't really have a lot of time to talk. A lot of time to chit chat and stuff. But I would greet her, I would ask her a few questions, and I would greet her here and there, and we'll talk a little bit. But most of the time she would be busy, so would not really have long talks. So another thing that really amazed me about her during that time was also the fact that she was very helpful and willing to offer herself to help. If there was anyone in church who needed help with children, to take care of children, just to clean up. I remember her one day taking a few friends of hers to go and help out, to clean at one of our elders' place. I was like, wow, she was just so selfless, that was really so special of her. As we grew in the Lord, and she was growing stronger, I saw a lot. She started growing even in prayer. I remember one day I saw her. There came a time when she couldn't miss any service. I mean, she was going to the Sunday service, Saturday meetings, youth meetings, every meeting that we're having, because on Mondays we'll be having like a prayer meeting. She will be there, and on Thursday we'll be having teaching services, and then Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesdays we'll be having home groups, home cells, and she would be at every one of these services and really, really growing strong. One of the places where I saw her grow is prayer. One day I just came, and I don't know what had gone on into her, or what had happened. When we just started prayer, she lifted up her voice and just said, "Father, in the name of Jesus." I was like, wow, look who's praying, It just amazed me, Yeah. So fast forward, so during the time when so I'm sure you have heard already about my accident. I've shared that in how I found peace, and in many other videos. Please, I'll leave the link up here, so that you can just go and just listen to those videos as well. But when I was in the hospital, she was one of the people who was really. I remember when she came, when I was now in the hospital, and she came over. She was one of those people who just took a day in her week, and she would faithfully come every day. One of her day, I remember so well, was a Friday that she would come. And during this time, what was so special is that she would walk to come and visit me, in a great distance. I will never forget that. Such a special thing. And I would ask her, so how did you come? No, I walked. Wow. So sometimes I would give her some of the monies that people were giving me. When you are sick and you're in the hospital, people give you money. Sometimes people give you money. Sometimes they give you juices, fruits, and stuff. Yeah, so she would also bring me some good home-cooked meals, in the hospital, one of the things that in the hospital where I was, they would their food was really not having a lot of salt. I don't know, maybe something that they did intentional for a healthy diet, but it was not fun to always eat meat sometimes that is not really well salted. So she would make me nice meals, you know. I remember one day she brought me a very nice biltong meal. Ooh. Shy. My favorite of her meals was one where she would put vegetables, these green vegetables. I think here they are called wrap, but it's just a harder type of spinach. That she would just make that with pap, you know, very very thick, but you know, well fitted together pap. I would enjoy that so much. So it would be my veggie and some pap there, and that was just amazing. So in the hospital, she would come, we would have long chats. She would still continue, you know, asking questions and sharing her growth path with me, and it was really something very special, and I would be looking forward to it. There was a time, I think, when it clicked in my mind during these hospital visits that I think this is the person. If I was gonna consider to get someone, this is the person. And I think one of the things that really I would say would be, you know, of all the things I've mentioned that was so special about her, was her simplicity. She was a very simple person. You didn't have to work hard to be around her. You could just be yourself, and she was fine with that. I think that really was something that I will always treasure. Even now when we are together, she's very simple. I don't have to work hard. I don't have to pretend. I can just be honest, and she just loved me the way I am. So I think that's what I really enjoyed about her. Of course, she would want me to she I don't know, you know, the talk that we had, that she will hear in a video where we had a talk before the accident happened. That talk was special. I mean, I got to know about her. I got to know that she comes from my village. I got to know that I actually might know her parents, and yeah, I got to know that, but it was not like a pivotal point for me where I would say, I like this person. I just got to know her more, just as I was getting to know many more other girls or sisters in church. Yeah, so anyway, in church and all around, in the kingdom. So, but the time when I saw that this is the right person was, you know, when I'm talking to her and asking her, one of the things that I would ask her that are very important to me is I would ask her questions like, what is the Lord saying to you these days? And she was just like, she had no problem answering such questions. I think that was one of the things that was very important to me. I would even now, that is very important to me. I really fancy a person who really nurture and build a relationship with the Lord, who has a relationship that is actually alive and living with the Lord. And the way she would answer that question would really just blow me away. And I think that's when I began to, as we were talking, that's when I began to pick it up that this person is, if I am to look for a wife, this is the person I'm gonna look for. So it went on like that for a few years. Because she was coming every Friday, our relationship grew at top levels. We began to share more stuff. She began to come and help me at home sometimes. Even though during that time I used to have a help, a nanny of some sort. I think we call them, what do we call them? I was having a caregiver, yes, caregivers. So I was having a caregiver who would take care of me during that time because I was very weak. Even when I got out of hospital, I was very weak. But she would be faithfully coming on Fridays, still bringing something special as she comes. So our relationship grew really, really at high levels. There was a time I remember in testing her, I asked her, what would be an ideal husband for you? And I remember she just threw me off. She said, I like muscles, and I like a big guy. And I think for me that was a question to ask whether, to begin to test whether she wanted to go to the next level. But when she said that, in a way it threw me off. I thought, but I wish you care more about character and not really how the person looks and stuff like that. I think from that time on, our relationship was not as close anymore. Because in a way I felt a bit offended. I think it was also very immature of me to, I could have tried to win her heart, stuff like that. But I think there was just a misunderstanding in the whole thing, and I kind of began to push her away. And when you ask her today, she will tell you that, or she says that she did that because she saw I was coming on to her, and she was not ready for a relationship. So then she decided to, throw me off. Because it was not time to begin to be all jolly and stuff. I respect that right now. I respect that today. But back then it felt like she was rejecting me, Anyway, but anyway, so I think I took her out of my mind from then on. She just began to be a friend who would come and visit. But then it was not growing into something that I thought it was gonna be. As also in my mind, I was now beginning to turn and become interested in girls, sort of, and not be in celibacy and stuff like that. Fast forward, then I remember she was friends with my friend, a friend of mine whom we grew up. So I think one of the days they were chatting, and she was very open with him and told him that I think the conversation they had was, so who in our church whom would you be interested in? And I think she bluntly told him that it was me. So him being my friend came and actually shared with me that I thank God for that friend. So that woke hope in my heart. I said, "Whoa!" So she would consider something. You must understand also during that time I was a bit insecure because I was not the same person I was before the accident. In terms of the looks, in terms of charm and all that stuff. I was now in a wheelchair, so when she said she wanted someone who was masculine and a little bit tall, I remember the words tall, dark and handsome came there. Tall, dark and handsome. Even white people say that. I don't understand that tall, dark and handsome thing. So anyway, most women would tell you that, and she did tell me that. Today I hear that she was pushing me away for some good reason. Yeah, but anyway. So I was a little bit insecure in my appearance. But when I heard that, it really brought hope back in my heart. And I said, there can be something here, huh? So I can't remember the years. She's very good with the years. It was during that time when I began to just build something again with her. I began to talk to my pastor about the possibilities. I began to think about the possibility. I began to, talk to other people about that. I think during this time also, because I'm a person who is on a wheelchair now, there were a lot of things to consider before I asked. But one thing that in a way erased my fear for approaching her, even though I was I was now a wheelchair user, or I was not in my element, as some people will put it. Was that she didn't seem to see me in a different way than she used to see me. I mean, I didn't have to do much. I just had to be myself with her. I said, wow, that is nice. So, it was I can't remember the day, but it was the day after Valentine's Day. I think it was the 15th of that year, whatever that year is. The previous day, while it was Valentine's Day, I had bought her a chocolate. I did not buy other sisters in church a chocolate. And my heart asked me in that moment, a conversation went on and asked, why do you buy this one a chocolate? Why only her? Don't you think you need to take some responsibility here? Oh, I said, my man, you are right. Let me do this. I need to take responsibility. I need to actually ask her out properly so that I can begin to just buy a chocolate without judging myself, sort of. So then I called her over. I could have gone over to her, but I couldn't go over to her. I decided to call her home. I prepared myself. I got out. I asked my caregiver to prepare me, give me my best shirt, get me my best, self, And she came over. She was very keen to hear why I was calling her. And boom, I asked her out. Well, I told her, I'm very interested in having a relationship with her, and I've been seeing her, and that I would really want to get into something that will end up being like a marriage, where we can that I don't want a girl to fool with. I think it was along those lines. So during that time, it was very interesting. She said she accepted me, but she said she was not yet fully ready for a full-blown relationship because she still has to build her life a little bit and all that. But from that day on, we knew that we like each other, and we like each other. So from then on, now things were serious. We're now in a relationship, but that's when it kicked in. Actually, when we were now in a relationship, that I actually have a girlfriend. There were a lot of things to consider, now that I have a girlfriend. What do we do, How do I what do I do, but of course, when she said yes, an attraction began to grow between us. There was the electricity and all that began to be even more. I remember during that time it's like, when you talk to someone and you see that you like each other, and it's like we just unleashed our love towards each other. Of course, we did a lot of protocol stuff that we'll talk about maybe in other videos. We engaged our parents in terms of spiritual parents. We talked to them. I spoke to my pastor, and my pastor, began to prepare me and ask some very difficult questions. I think we'll talk about that in the coming videos, where we'll be talking about the challenges that began now to produce. But immediately when we were now in a relationship, I think when it was now in reality, that's when all the questions began to be real. Questions of what would we do as a couple, our meeting place. I have a carer. Will she understand that? There were things that the carer was doing to me in my privates that I wouldn't want anyone to. Well, I was afraid to introduce her to the me who needed help, who had his private life because of the whole accident and all that, who didn't have a private life in a way, where I had either my mother or my carer or caregiver, so it was a very sensitive place. But I remember one day we were now in a relationship, and I had gone back to school, finished, and I had already gotten my certificate. My diploma in graphic design, and I was now working at a graphic design agency. So one of the things that used to happen during when I started working was my routine changed, and so during those first days at work, it was really difficult for me because I needed to adjust my bowel movement program. I needed to adjust even my emptying the catheter and all this stuff. So during one of those days, I had just had a bowel movement accident at work, and I had asked my boss to allow me to go out. During those times I would say, well, I was not feeling well or something like that, and because I didn't want to I'm not feeling well or something like that, because I didn't want to explain a lot of things. I didn't want to explain that. In fact, there's a bowel movement accident and stuff. So I came, and my carer was not at home during that time, because I've gone to work, and there was really no one I could ask for help to come and help me out of the car and to actually help me, to get cleaned up. So during one of those days, so as I'm driving back home, lo and behold, Fabie is standing by the road. I have no idea how she was there, but I said, wow, there she is. We greeted each other. She had just been at the hospital at some clinic and did what she wanted to do at the clinic, and now she was heading home. So she jumped in. We went home. I think during that time, I think that's when it just clicked. My goodness, I need help. I have no one to help me, but here's Fabie. I didn't even have some time to introduce her to the bowel movement program thing. as a subject, when wham, she just was thrown in the whole thing. I had no other way but to ask her for help. So she helped me. She too helped me out of the car, and then we got in the house. She helped me to bring everything close, because by now I was strong enough to actually, wash myself and clean myself up. But this was an opportunity, that just presented itself. And during that time, one of the things that was very important to look at was what was going to be her reaction afterwards. Is she going to budge out? Because this happened right at the beginning. I think we were just like a few weeks into our relationship, or maybe a few months. I'm not good with time, but it was right at the beginning. Because what I was expecting, from as a normal girl, it would have been, her calling off this thing. Said, no, man, I didn't sign up for something like this. I didn't even know, this is one of the things that has to be dealt with if I will be with you. But I waited, and nothing happened. She was as in love with me as when we began. That just cemented everything. I began to be very open with her. I opened up most of the other areas that I could open up at the level where we were. I now was open up about the medical situation, and she began, and we even grew more in love. So for now, I think that's where I would end. Like she said in her video, we are going to pick it up from now, going through our relationship, when we're now our love relationship, and the preparation to marriage. And so that's it. If you are new to our channel and you like the content we are sharing here, and someone who's a wheelchair user, or someone who was involved in a car accident, because the things we're dealing with here are things that will happen, things that happens after a tragedy of any kind, a life-changing tragedy that might happen in your life, things that change you, that make you to not be the person, or to in a way change from the person you were, before the tragedy. And so even you who I just got into a relationship, there are a lot of difference, a lot of challenges that you might go through, that we might be dealing with here on our channel. So subscribe, write comments down in the comment section, and just engage us. We are a very new channel. We just reached our 100 subscribers, and we are going to closer to reaching to our 200 subscribers. And we want you to come along, jump on the wagon, on the bandwagon, share with us the journey. So subscribe, like, share. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.